Good evening, everybody. This is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. We are here to bring you an update on some of today's top stories, including 2 undersea cables being cut in the Baltic Sea. So we're going to have an update on that. We'll update you on a couple other stories, and we'll take your comments and questions on the air. You can reach me on X, at Lookner on X. You can write me there. And I really appreciate all of our viewers who are here and all of our moderators as well. Thank you so much to our moderators like Roberts May Queen Roberts May Queen is over there on YouTube. Belinda Belk and Larry, thanks for moderating for us. Over there on Twitch right now, we have Big Ball of Yarn, Good Luck Duck, Idaho Star, McBridges, and Surly Dev. Also, Paul Anderson, K. Lowry Body on Facebook. Thanks for moderating there. Margaret Riley. Christina Neal, thank you. Thanks to all of our moderators. All right, so let's begin. I want to start by just mentioning another story. There's a new story coming out like now where in China, I believe the story is that in China, a car, do I have this right? A car hit people reportedly at an elementary school. There's video coming out of, I can't show it, of like people on the ground at an elementary school in China. No, this is new. This is not last week. This is coming out right now. There have been several incidents, I believe, at schools in China recently. But yeah, Factual News just posted something. Manya Katsa just posted something. You can check my X account. Go to my X account. I reposted a couple of videos on my X account. I can't show them on the air. But if you go to my X account, you can see them. I'm actually going to I just posted the link to my X account again. But yeah, that's just like coming out right now. Like right as I came on the air, I saw it. So I just want to talk about that for a second. Let me just see if I can get you anything more about that. Yeah, Manya, who reports on news from China, said another incident occurred at a primary school in Chengdi this Tuesday morning. Casualties unknown at this time. Yeah, Global Times, which is Chinese state media, said multiple students were rammed and injured outside a primary school in Chengdi, China. All right, so I'll keep an eye out on that and see if I can get you any more information on that. I believe there have been several incidents at China schools recently. Yeah, so look, this was recently, there was a knife attack at a vocational school. Hold on. Yeah, this wasn't, I'm not even talking about this. This is different. See, this thing is different. You can see here, this is a story from yesterday. Knife attack at a vocational school in eastern China leaves 8 dead and 17 injured. A stabbing and attack at a vocational school in the eastern Chinese city of Wuji on Saturday left 8 people dead and 17 others injured. The attack took place at the Wuji Vocational Institute of Arts and Technology in Yijing, says AP. The suspect was a 21-year-old male student. Police said he had failed his examinations and could not graduate, and that he was dissatisfied about his pay at an internship. He decided to vent his frustrations via the attack. Video. This was yesterday. This isn't even the new one. Videos circulating on Western social media platforms showed injured people lying on the street after the attack while others rushed to help. On Chinese social media platforms like Weibo, searches of the attack turn up the police statement, but no videos or images. The Chinese government often censors internet content if it's deemed overly sensitive or political. Most Western social media sites and search engines like Google are blocked in China behind what's commonly known as the Great Firewall, which regulates what is accessible within China. See, look, this yesterday was the second deadly attack within a week after a man drove his car into people at a sports facility in Zhuhai, leaving 35 dead and injured 43 others. China has seen a number of attacks in which suspects appear to target members of the public at random. Right, and another one just happened like now. So we're hearing about a new one of these right now, where a car drove into people at a primary school. So in this article yesterday, AP says China has seen a number of attacks in which suspects appear to target members of the public at random. In October, a man was detained after he allegedly attacked children with a knife at a school in Beijing. 5 people were wounded. In September, 3 people were killed in a knife attack at a Shanghai supermarket, and 15 others were injured. Police at the time said the suspect had personal financial disputes and came to Shanghai to vent his anger. The same month, a Japanese schoolboy died after being stabbed on his way to school in the southern city of Shenzhen. I don't know if that's related to the other ones in any kind of way. Seems like a sort of different type of incident. But again, new incident. So in addition to this, which was on Saturday, a knife attack at a vocational school that killed 8 and injured 17. Today, there's being reported that, it's today in the U.S. Today is Monday, but Tuesday morning, China time, it's being reported that there's been a car ramming attack at a primary school in China. In Shangdi. So anyways, I'll keep an eye on this and let you know if I hear more. Sorry, it just started. I just started seeing it right as we came on the air. Pistol Pete says, sad news indeed. Eric O'Neill says, why is all this happening in China? I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know if there's any kind of connection between these things. But it's like these, again, in the last few months, a series of attacks on members of the public, seemingly random attacks. Bella thinks it's not unusual for China. It's unusual that the news is getting out of China. Okay. We'll talk about the, I'll keep an eye out for more on that. We're going to talk about the cables. By the way, just on the China thing, this again is an article from yesterday. This is not about the thing today. Let me just show you something else. This is an article in Reuters that came out yesterday, which said China's second mass attack in a week spurs soul searching, right? But this doesn't even include the new car ramming attack. So just what Reuters had reported yesterday is that a former student went on a stabbing rampage at a vocational college in eastern China, killing 8 people and injuring 17, prompting further soul searching just days after the deadliest attack in the country in a decade. On Saturday, authorities had said they had charged a 62-year-old man who rammed his car into a crowd outside a sports stadium, killing 35 people and injuring 43 on Monday night. So Monday night, last Monday, a week ago, there was this thing where a guy, the video from that was horrific, just horrible, where a guy ran over dozens of people and killed 35 and injured 43. Then 2 days ago, this mass stabbing thing at a vocational college, and reportedly this morning, a new car ramming at a primary school in China. Reuters says in both of the previous cases, the suspects lashed out with fatal violence against unrelated bystanders after suffering an economic loss. The killings touched off a rare and heavily censored online discussion over mental health in China. Deeper stresses as the world's second-largest economy slows and whether young people will find themselves worse off than generations before that had benefited from China's rapid development. At least 6 other high-profile knife attacks have been recorded this year across China. Now, China is, of course, a very big country. Over 1 billion people live there. Anyways, maybe we'll come back to this in a little bit. So, a number of these recent... Hold on a second here. A number of these recent random mass attacks in China. So maybe we can come back to this in a little bit. Okay. Yeah, guys, real quick, I don't know why I have to, I don't think I should have to explain this, but this is a breaking news channel. So we came on the air, as I explained, I saw some breaking news, I'm covering it. Apparently that really angers some of you. It makes you be rude in the chat and ask why we're covering it. I didn't think it was that big a deal to cover big breaking news that just happened. I'm sorry if it upsets you. Maybe you shouldn't watch the channel if it upsets you. I'm sorry. We're a breaking news channel. If there's stuff that happens when I'm on the air, I'm going to talk about it. Sorry to wreck your day by doing so. Make you angry enough to post rude things in the chat, but that's what the channel is. It's a breaking news channel. If you don't like it, don't watch. Okay? All right. Moving on now from the rude people in the chat. Let's talk about the cable story. Hold on a second here. Okay, let me give you a couple updates about the cable story. There's not that much. I haven't seen it hasn't been covered everywhere. So Reuters reported that there were 2 undersea communications cables in the Baltic Sea that had been cut. And there are suspicions of sabotage by bad actors. So let's talk about that. By the way, quick thanks to Jason Minard. Thank you so much, Jason. Also, Captain Jerry Donnelly, who thinks in China there are copycats with mental problems. Specific Gravity, Sharon A. Bayer, Sean C., Jim R., who gifted 10 memberships. It's very nice of you, Jim. And Malta McMurchie, thanks for being a member. Reuters said that the two cables being cut, I believe it was within 6 hours of each other, it was reported, were reminiscent of other incidents in the Baltic Sea, including last year's damage to a gas pipeline and undersea cables, and in 2022, explosions of the North Sea gas pipelines. So this was two cables. There was one cable linking Germany and Finland, and one cable linking Lithuania and Sweden. And according to Reuters, they went out within 6 hours of each other. I believe they're within like 60 miles of each other or something too. I need to confirm that. Finland and Germany released a joint statement. Let me see if I can get you that statement. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to pull it up right here. Hold on. If I can find it. I have to like go to their website, like the German Foreign Ministry website. I want to get the official statement from Germany and what was it? Yes, I have it right. I got it. Look, right here. Joint statement by the foreign ministers of Finland and Germany on the severed undersea cable in the Baltic Sea. We are deeply concerned about the severed undersea cable connecting Finland and Germany in the Baltic Sea. The fact that such an incident, the fact that such an incident immediately raises suspicions of intentional damage speaks volumes about the volatility of our times. A thorough investigation is underway. Our European security is not only under threat from Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, but also from hybrid warfare by malicious actors. Safeguarding our shared critical infrastructure is vital to our security and the resilience of our societies. This is just about one of the cables. The other one was between Lithuania and Sweden. Now it came like a day after U.S. President Biden gave Ukraine permission to use long-range ATACMS missiles on targets in Russian territory. I don't know if there's a connection between the two. I have no idea. Just pointing out the timing. I wonder if the foreign ministers of Sweden or Lithuania made a statement. I'll have to check. By the way, thanks so much to JD63 That's really nice of you, JD63. Thank you so much. Also, MetaGuide. Thanks, MetaGuide. Captain Jerry Donnelly, who thinks it's $25 million to fix them. I don't know. I was reading about a ship that's sent out there to fix one of them. We'll talk about that in a second. Thanks also, Rocky Mountain Billy, who thinks criminals and the mentally unstable will always find a way to wreak havoc regardless of any weapon bans. How deep in the ocean are they? I'll have to try to get you more information on that. Let me show you where we're talking about, by the way. Let me just pull up a map here. Oh, you know, there's this other thing that happened today where, like, I have no idea if there's any relation. In Finland, they had a bit of an issue with one of their nuclear power plants. So some people are wondering, hey, so there's a cable from Finland that got cut, and there's an issue in one of their nuclear power plants. Could this be related? I don't know. We'll talk about that in a second. Let me show you the Baltic Sea, though. Okay, Baltic Sea, oops, on Google Maps, as you can see, oops. So there's the Baltic Sea. We got Germany down here. We have Finland here. We have Sweden here, and we have Lithuania here. Ooh, maybe I can pull up my my pen. There it is. I don't know exactly where the location of these cables is, but one of the cables is between Lithuania and Sweden, one is between Finland and Germany. Right? Finland and Germany? So that would mean one of them is between Lithuania and Sweden, and one is between... Oh, I think it's Gotland, Sweden. I got to look that up. Hold on. Let me erase that for a second. Yeah, I think the one between, I have to look this up, but I think it was between here and Lithuania. Then the other one, somewhere in Finland and somewhere in Germany. They are undersea communications cables. We'll talk more about this. Planet 003 says, I'm in Finland, internet is working. Yeah, they haven't like cut the internet or anything. I believe there's some redundancy with these cables, but we'll talk more about that. Anyways, hang on a moment. All right, so again, we told you that Germany and Finland said we are deeply concerned about the severed undersea cable connecting Finland and Germany in the Baltic Sea. The fact that such an incident immediately raises suspicions of international damage speaks volumes about the volatility of our times. A thorough investigation is underway. Our European security is not only under threat from Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, but also from hybrid warfare by malicious actors. Safeguarding our shared critical infrastructure is vital to our security and the resilience of our societies. Now, let me also, while I'm discussing that, get some more details here. Oops, let's go back to here. By the way, according to Reuters, Oopsie. Why is that coming on? What did that do? Why is that there? Let's get rid of that. Oh, I see. Sorry. I was trying to see if I get an official comment about the other cable that was cut. According to Reuters, the damage to the Finland-Germany cable could require 5 to 15 days to repair. That was according to a news conference. And Reuters also said that last year there was a gas pipeline under the sea and several cables under the sea, under the Baltic Sea, which were damaged, severely damaged, and some investigators said that a Chinese container ship dragged its anchor and caused the damage, but they didn't say whether they thought it was intentional or not. In 2022, there was the explosions that destroyed the Nord Stream gas pipelines linking Russia to Germany, which we can talk about too. Let me get you some more details on these two cables, though. So, one thing you wonder, is this like, someone sending a warning that they could do further things? Oh, you know what I bet? I bet there's a, look. See, there's this. No, that's not what I wanted. Here is. The BBC says in October 2023, a natural gas pipeline between Finland and Estonia was severely damaged. And Finnish officials said that was caused by a Chinese container ship dragging its anchor. And German prosecutors are still investigating the explosion of the Nord Stream gas pipelines between Russia and Germany in 2022. The cable between Finland and Germany, according to BBC, is a Sea Lion 1 fiber optic cable that links the capital Helsinki in Finland and the German city of Rostock. Cinia, which is the Finnish operator of the cable, said all of the connections, all the fiber connections in the cable had been cut, and said that this was not an accident, said that you'd have to have outside impact on this. BBC talked to an expert who said with this Finland-Germany cable, there were other cable routes available, so it did not impact internet traffic. Oh, hey, look, I got an article about this cable from the company, that the network operator. Look at this. Check this out. A fault in the Cinia Sea Lion 1 submarine cable between Finland and Germany. This is from the company Cinia. This is a press release from Cinia. Their website says they are a Finnish company focusing on securing digital environments and specializing in critical high reliability connections and software. Internet company, it sounds like. I mean, I'm not, and they, communications company. Okay. A fault has been detected, they say, in the Sinia OY Sea Lion 1 submarine cable between Finland and Germany, and corrective measures have been initiated. A fault has been detected in the Sinia OY Sea Lion 1 submarine cable between Finland and Germany early after 4 a.m. early after 4 a.m. on Monday, 18th of November, 2024. Due to the fault, the services provided over the Sea Lion 1 are down. The details of the fault are not yet known and are currently being investigated. Corrective measures have been initiated and the repair vessel is getting ready to go onto the site. The exact repair time is not yet known, but typically the repair time for submarine cables is between 5 and 15 days. Finland's international telecommunication connections are routed via multiple routes, and the impact of a single cable failure depends on the resilience of the service provider's connections. Sea Lion 1 is a submarine telecommunications cable between Finland and Germany with a length of about 700 miles. The submarine cable was launched in 2016 and connects Central European telecommunications networks to Finland and other Nordic countries. More information will be updated on Tuesday. Okay. That's from Sinia. Give me 1 second here. By the way, something to remember is that Finland, I don't know if it's relevant here, but Finland joined NATO about a year after Russia invaded Ukraine. Finland joined NATO in 2023. Also, Germany has been a major supporter of Ukraine in their fight off the Russian invasion. John Smith says, who else could it be other than Russia or China? That's what John thinks. Let me read some more comments about this. You can write to me on X @Lookner. MetaGuide said MetaGuide said there might be a map available, but I have to. You know what? Maybe I can find. Well, I don't have the rights to show that, I don't believe. I can post a link with the map. Hold on. I'm going to post a link with a map of this cable. I can see it. Basically the cable runs between the Finland-Germany cable that had the cut in it runs roughly from around here. It's roughly like this. That's roughly where it runs. I found a map of it. I'll post a link to the map in the chat, but that's roughly where it runs, from Germany to Finland. That's the Sea Lion 1 cable. Does Wikipedia have a pic of it too? Oh, Wikipedia has a Sea Lion 1 page. Well, that's easy. I can show that. Thanks to our viewer for mentioning that. Here it is. Here's the Germany. Here it is right here. Sea Lion 1. It's a communication cable between Finland and Germany. It is the first direct communications cable between Finland and Central Europe. It was finished in 2016. The cable is about 700 miles long, has 8 fiber pairs. Total capacity of 144 terabits per second. It has landing points in Helsinki, Finland, Hanko, Finland, and Rostock, Germany. And there is the map. Hold on. Here is the map of the cable. All right. There you go. That's from Wikipedia. So that's one of the two that was severed. We got to talk about the other cable, though. We've been talking about this cable. Okay, thanks, by the way, to Brandon Reed for the gift membership, and Captain Jerry Donnelly. Says the cables connect Europe to Scandinavia. Aren't there some definitions of Europe in which Scandinavia is included? Google AI says Scandinavia is in the sub-region of Northern Europe. Encyclopedia Britannica says Scandinavia is part of Europe. Well, I leave it to you to pick your definition of Europe. Thanks, Captain Jerry Donnelly. Also, Desi D and Moonbeam. Thanks, Moonbeam. GB Moonbeam. Also, Cartoon Maps. Thank you, Cartoon Maps. And Buddy 13440. And David Ferriello for the gift memberships. Thank you. Kevj S thinks this is an act of war. That's what our viewer thinks. Paul Anderson said these cables are extremely thick and heavy. I don't know where Paul's getting this information, but I would not be surprised if that's true. Who stated the cables were cut? There are multiple articles that say they were cut. Let's see if we can get you information about the other cable. Hang on. There's the cable between Lithuania and Sweden. Let's talk about that cable. I need 2 seconds here. Oh, hold on. One moment. I was trying to see if I could find a press release about the other one. CNN says that a spokesperson from the telecommunications company Telia Lithuania said that the cable between Lithuania and Sweden that was cut around 10 a.m. Sunday morning. Oh, so they were about a day. You know what? They weren't 6 hours different. So I guess the Lithuania to Sweden one was cut about 10 a.m. Sunday morning. And then, if that's correct, and then the other one was cut Monday at 4 a.m., around 4 a.m. The telecommunications company spokesman told CNN that the cause was likely physical damage to the cable. It was not equipment failure. And these two cables are roughly 60 miles apart. Also, hold on a second here. Oh, this is interesting. Hold on a second. You know, it's interesting. Back in early September, CNN had reported in early September that two U.S. officials told them that the U.S. has detected increased Russian military activity around key undersea cables and believes Russia may now be more likely to carry out potential sabotage operations aimed at disabling a critical piece of the world's communications infrastructure. This was an article from 2 months ago. Wow, that's it. I'm going to post a link to that article from 2 months ago. Some of our viewers think the U.S. did it. I'll post a link to that article too. That's interesting. Sorry, I'm just posting the link to this article. I think it's interesting. So again, it's very interesting. Again, 2 months ago, CNN ran an article that said two U.S. officials told CNN that the U.S. has detected increased Russian military activity around key undersea cables and believes Russia may now be more likely to carry out potential sabotage operations aimed at disabling a critical piece of the world's communications infrastructure. Something else CNN pointed out in that article is they said that undersea cables form a critical backbone of internet and telecommunications traffic around the world. Most communications and internet traffic travels around across a vast network of high-speed fiber optic cables installed along the ocean floor. Oh, let me see if I have some more information from you about. I have some more information about the second cable from LRT, which I believe LRT is Lithuanian state media. Okay. Let me just make sure of this. Yes, Lithuanian National Television, LRT. So, just to go over what we're talking about again, there were two communications cables under the Baltic Sea that were cut, one Sunday morning and one early Monday morning. One of the cables, it's not clear who cut them and what happened. One of the cables is, let me just pull it up here. This one the Sea Lion 1 cable between Finland and Germany, which we already talked about. Voltron Nam thinks it was obviously Russia. Maybe we'll do a poll in a second. So one of them was this one. We already talked about this one. Now what I want to do is talk about the second cable. This one goes between Finland and Germany. The second one goes between Sweden, I believe Gotland, and Lithuania. So let's talk about the next one. Why were they cut? Well, we don't know. I mean, if you think Russia did it, you might think Russia is doing it because Russia doesn't like the West and Russia doesn't like the West supporting Ukraine and all that. I mean, I'm not saying they did it. I don't know who did it. All right, by the way, thanks to Firestar, and Tanner Toxicity, who says there was a story in The Guardian 2 days ago that a Russian spy ship was escorted away from an area with critical cables in the Irish Sea. That's what Tanner Toxicity says. Thanks, Captain Jerry Donnelly, by the way, and BBG for the gift memberships. Firestar says the other cable was the BCS East-West Interlink. Well, let me try to confirm that. Thank you, Quentin from Astoria, our new member, too. Okay. Let's get the details about the other cable. I just need... Oh, we got to cover India pollution, too. We're going to cover India pollution in a second. Well, after we talk about this. Can I just show you India pollution? Live India pollution shot for a second? Just let me show it to you for a second. Hang on. This is in New Delhi. It's in New Delhi. I have a live shot from New Delhi, India. Here is a live shot from New Delhi, India. There you go. That's live. Is there volume on this? We'll talk about this shortly. There is one. It's weird. It's like somebody is listening to, what is that truck doing? There's a truck doing something. It's like somebody's listening to a TV show there or something. Anyways, we'll talk about that story next. But I wanted you to see that. That's a live shot from New Delhi. Well, again, we'll talk all about it. We'll talk. I don't want to wait. Let's wait for a second. Just let's take a minute. We'll get there. Yeah, the levels of pollution are really extreme there right now. By the way, a quick shout out to our as we look at New Delhi for a second. Again, we're going to talk about this more. I want to get back to the cables for a second. A quick shout out to our moderators. No, this video is from Reuters. I'm getting this video from Reuters. Thank you to our moderators. Sarah55 is moderating. Thank you, Sarah55. Roberts May Queen is moderating. And De Beers, Good Luck Duck, Idaho Star, I Got That Fire, and Surly Dev. Also, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, Christina Neal, Paul Anderson, Ronald Egnor, Linda Belk and Larry on X. All right, so we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to more. Again, I don't know what that truck is doing. Somebody in the chat probably knows. Okay, so we'll go back to that. We'll go back to it, I promise you. I promise we'll go back to India. But first, we're going to discuss the second cable that was cut. By the way, thanks to Air Jordan Almonds, our new member, and Firestar. Okay, so I was going to mention to you what the Lithuanian National News said about the cable from Lithuania running to Sweden that was cut, right? So let's get to that. I had it right here. What did I do with it? Confusing myself. Let me just pull it up again. I got it. It's LRT. LRT. Okay, so LRT reports, they are the Lithuanian National News Service. They say that the chief technology officer of Telia says a communications cable between Lithuania and Sweden in the Baltic Sea was also cut, in addition to the cable between Finland and Germany that was cut. This official of Telia, which is a Swedish telecommunications company and mobile network operator, they operate both in Sweden and Lithuania. Telia said the cable was cut on Sunday morning around 10 a.m. And Telia transmits, according to Telia, Telia transmits internet to Lithuania through 3 cables, meaning that the internet bandwidth in Lithuania was reduced by 1/3 when the cable was cut. But they were able to basically Oh, it says the connection was restored to users by bypassing the fault. Somehow, it's a little confusing. I don't know. I don't know if there was a... The article says the connection was restored to users by bypassing the fault. So I don't know if maybe there were multiple connections on that undersea cable or something where they could go around the part that was broken. That I don't know. And this article, like the CNN article, also mentions that the cables were cut weeks after the U.S. warned it had detected Russian military activity around key undersea cables. Air Jordan Almonds thinks 2 other sea cables getting cut is no accident and wouldn't surprise me if Russia is nonplussed by accusations. Attacking C4I is first objective in military combat ops? Ron Deitman thought the truck in New Delhi was spraying water to keep dust pollution down. We'll go back to that. Hold on a second here. Yeah, the cable, according to Reuters, the cable between Lithuania and Sweden is 135 miles long, and it goes between Lithuania and Gotland Island in Sweden. So the one that was cut between Lithuania and Sweden goes from Lithuania to Gotland Island. There's Gotland right there. So that second one would run between roughly here and here. Serif thinks internet cables being cut is a sign of potential war outbreak. Now, you might wonder, does this have anything to do with Biden announcing that Ukraine can use ATACMS long-range missiles made by the U.S. to fire on targets within Russia, which came out yesterday? But the first of these cables was cut at 10 a.m. Europe time on Sunday. I believe that was before the news had broken about Biden, I think. So I don't know what to say about that. Unless they knew that that was happening before it got publicly announced. B. Earhart thinks it does have something to do with it. I'm going to do a poll right now. The poll is going to be, did Russia cut these cables? I personally don't know. Let's start a poll. Did Russia cut the 2 cables? That's the question. Yes or no? Did they cut the 2 cables? Let's see what our viewers think about this. I'll put the... I have way too much open on my desktop. Confusing myself. All right. On YouTube, our YouTube viewers say 69% on YouTube say it was Russia. 30% say no. And over on Twitch, 65% say it was Russia. Why can't you see this? Oh, you'll see it in a second. 63% on Twitch say it was Russia. NE says, how do people think it wasn't Russia? Well, apparently they think somebody else did it. Now, in theory, I guess it could have been an accident of some sort, right? I mean, there would have to be an accident that takes out these two cables about 60 miles from each other. What would someone have to gain by cutting these, says By the Sea. I mean, if you think it's Russia, you might think Russia is sending a message to the West, don't keep helping Ukraine or something like this. But, I mean, I'm not saying it's them. I don't know who did it. How deep is the ocean there? I don't know where exactly these were cut, so I don't know how deep it was. I do know that for the Finland-Germany one, they have a ship that comes out, and they're sending a repair ship out, and the ship is expected to fix that cable between in 5 and 15 days. Thanks so much to our new member, Matt Camper. Thank you to our member, Nikos Kostianis. Thank you also, Evie1973, for your support. Thank you also. And Evie says, Russia is not our enemy. My cousin lives there, and I visited twice and going back in December. Stop the propaganda. Yeah, as David By the Sea said, they were about 24 hours apart. All right, I appreciate you voting in the poll. So a majority of you does think it's Russia, but again, I don't know who did this. I'm assuming if someone did it, it's the same group that did both. Hey, thanks. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm way behind on Twitch. Boy, am I bad. I owe some thank yous on Twitch. Thank you, by the way, to Quake Clouds on Twitch for subscribing. The Trash Flower for subscribing on Twitch. And Roaches in the Cabinet for the bits on Twitch. Rivertown Creations for subscribing on Twitch. Sticker Reds for subscribing on Twitch. Solid Fox as well. All right, here's what I think we should do. I think we should take a second and talk about the India pollution. And then we can go back and talk more about the cables. Martin Gingrich says, I'm 50-50 Russia or Ukraine. Thanks, Martin. I appreciate that. Ron Hartley says, we know Russia did it. Casual Flipper says, the India pollution is bad. All right, well, we're going to talk about the India pollution for a second because it's really bad. We're going to talk about that for a second. Let's do that. And then we'll come back and talk more about the cables. Thank you, Evie. 1973. I appreciate Evie. Evie insists it's not Russia. Okay, let's go live to New Delhi, India. Let's go to a live shot from New Delhi, India. Are you ready for the live shot? Here we go. That is a live shot from New Delhi, India. Oh my gosh. I can't play the audio because there's some kind of like program playing or something. It's like somebody's listening to a TV show. That's a live shot. Fagan says, why are they out walking in it? Let me tell you something about what's going on there. They've had intense pollution there. They closed schools in the capital. Check this out. India's capital chokes as air pollution levels hit 50 times the safe limit. That is not a typo from AP. 50 times the safe limit. We'll talk about why. A bunch of it is like farmers burning stuff. I got some pictures for you too. So AP says authorities in India's capital, New Delhi, which you're looking at right now, they shut schools, they halted construction, and they banned non-essential trucks from entering the city on Monday after air pollution shot up to its worst level this season. Residents of New Delhi woke up to thick, toxic smog enveloping the city of some 33 million residents as the air quality became increasingly hazardous. Should I change the headline? I'm going to temporarily change the headline. Let me change the headline temporarily so people don't get confused. Hang on. I'll put it back. This is pollution levels in New Delhi, India hit 50 times safe limit. We'll change it for a moment. And then we can put it back when we talk about the other thing. Just remind me to change it back. By the way, New Delhi time right now, just so you know, the time in New Delhi is, it's 9:02 a.m. It's 9:02 a.m. in New Delhi right now. I wonder if I can find the website for the India, for like the India authority with the warning on it or whatever. I have it. I got the warning from India. I'm going to get you the warning from India. If I can find it here. Where is it here? I'm on their page. SAFAR India, System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research. SAFAR. Oh, look, I have it. Air quality across SAFAR cities, Delhi. Here it is. I got the warning for you. I'm pulling up the warning for Delhi. Hang on. First of all, look at this. If you go to the bottom, it says Delhi is severe. I got to show you this. Hold on a second. It's hard for you to see. Let me get this on the screen for you. This is from the government, okay? Now check this out. Air quality across Safar cities, AQ index. So we have Ahmedabad, which is satisfactory. We have Mumbai, which is moderate. We have, is it Pune, which is moderate? And all the way up here, we have Delhi. See? Delhi's over here. That's a scale there. Delhi is up here. And then they said, let me get you the warning for Delhi. Where is it here? Air quality forecast. There it is. Sensitive groups, everyone, avoid all physical activity outdoors. Give a miss to walk today. Does give a miss mean don't walk? Stop any activity level if you experience any unusual coughing, chest comfort, wheezing, breathing difficulty, or fatigue, or consult doctor. If the room has windows, close them. Wow. Hold on. We gotta pull that up again. Where was that again? Let's pull that up again. Yeah, they're saying don't exercise, don't do anything outside. Gotta find a. All right, hold on. Where is. The site is a little bit funky. Guided Touch says it happens every year at this time. They do have. Yes, I mean, I don't know if it's every year this bad, but they do have periodic bad air there. What I want to do is when we get this, I want to stop it so I can read you the warning there. Oh, there it is. Avoid all physical activity outdoors. Give a miss to walk today. Stop any activity level if you experience any unusual coughing, chest comfort, wheezing, breathing difficulty, or fatigue, and consult doctor. If the room has windows, close them. This is for everyone in the city of Delhi. Avoid burning anything such as wood, candles, or even incense. Keep the room clean. Don't vacuum. Do wet mopping frequently. Masks may only help if you go out. If the air conditioner provides a fresh air intake option, close it. So that's from the government. There's a live shot from Delhi, which it's like 9:07? It's 9:07 a.m. there. All right, so just to give you some more background here. Again, authorities in AP says authorities in New Delhi, India's capital, shut schools, halted construction, and banned non-essential trucks from entering the city on Monday after air pollution shot up to its worst level this season, 50 times the safe limit. It's a city of 33 million people. The deadly haze covered monuments and high-rise buildings in the capital with visibility so low that airlines warned of delays. In several areas of the city, pollution levels were more than 50 times higher than the World Health Organization's recommended safe limit. Forecasters say the poor air quality will continue into the week. Air pollution in northern India rises every year, particularly in winter, as farmers burn crop residue in agricultural areas. The burning of the crop residue by the farmers coincides with colder temperatures, which trap the smoke in the air. The smoke is then blown into cities where auto emissions add to the pollution. Emissions from industries and the burning of coal to produce electricity are also linked to the pollution, which has been steadily ticking up in recent weeks. Classes for all grades except 10 and 12 will be held online, and no trucks will be allowed to enter the city except for those carrying essential items. That's an example of some of the measures that have been taken. Authorities urge children, the elderly, and others with chronic diseases or respiratory issues to avoid going outside as much as possible. Over the weekend, says AP, farmers in neighboring Uttar Pradesh state burned their fields, releasing plumes of gray smoke that winds likely carried into New Delhi and other nearby areas. Despite the poisonous air, many in the capital continued their usual routines, including morning walks in the city's beloved Lodi Garden. One person told AP everyone has a sore throat. They should ban crop residue burning. It's just smoke everywhere. AP says the worsening air quality in New Delhi has sparked outrage on social media from residents. Many complained of headaches and hacking coughs, describing the city as apocalyptic and a gas chamber. Others urged officials to solve the public health crisis once and for all. Several studies have estimated more than 1 million Indians die each year from pollution-related diseases. Critics say there needs to be a long-term solution that drastically reduces the pollution instead of actions that aim to mitigate the effects after it has already plagued the region. AP has pictures of crops being burned. So a big cause for this is the burning of crops. And you can see in this AP article, there's a picture there, and it says, farmers burn crop residue after harvest, some 180 miles from New Delhi. And that's on Sunday. So they burn the crop residue, and then the smoke ends up in New Delhi. Here's some other pictures there from AP. That's another one. Farmers burn crop residue 200 miles from New Delhi. Office goers walk wearing a face mask amid a thick layer of smog as air pollution shoots up in New Delhi Monday. Commuters drive through a thick layer of smog in New Delhi Monday. I had another shot of it yesterday. I don't have another shot today. This is the one shot I have of it. I wonder if I have another video I can show you about this. Jim Lill says maybe they should stop doing that. I don't know what the alternatives are. It's a good question. Let me read a couple comments from you guys. Then we'll talk more about the undersea cables that were cut. Jay Hitchcock says, is it worse than normal? That's a very good question. The New York Times says that New Delhi today, on Monday, New Delhi had the world's worst air pollution. According to the New York Times, they say that the index of this Swiss measuring company, IQ Air, the pollution index was over 1,600 today. And they say in the US, the EPA considers anything beyond 500 to be off the charts. So again, in the US, anything over 500 would be considered off the charts. But in Delhi, the Pollution index on Monday rose to over 1,600. Oh, I have a post from the Chief Minister of Delhi, I believe, about this. Atishi Marlena. Atishi Marlena, who's the Chief Minister of Delhi, posted on X, all of North India has been plunged into a medical emergency as stubble burning continues unchecked across the country. All cities across the country in UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, Haryana, MP, and Delhi are reeling under severe levels of pollution. And yet, despite the rising severity of stubble burning across India for the last 5 years, the central government has taken no concrete steps to curb the same. All of North India is paying the price for this, especially children and elderly who are struggling to breathe. Yeah, I got to tell you more about stubble burning. Hold on a second here. The New York Times says that parts of northern India and Pakistan experience severe pollution every year in the late fall as farmers burn straw left over from their rice harvests. But they say that even for this region, this year's air quality readings have been dire, which makes it sound like it's worse than even it normally is. They also say Punjab province in Pakistan, which borders India, is also having huge pollution readings, has had some huge pollution readings. And the Times says many scientists say that farmers burning rice stubble in Punjab are largely responsible for the pollution, although Pakistani officials have pointed at India where farmers also burn crops. R.A. Clark thinks that mulching is the alternative. More nutrient goes back into the land. It does not blow away on the wind. The New York Times said that the farmers burn their crops so to make room for the next year's planting, I think. They said the farmers burn their straw left over from the rice harvest to make room for new planting. I just saw a post from historian William Dalrymple, posted on X that he posted on X about 18 hours ago, and he said he had just gotten to Delhi, and he said it was at 2 p.m. impossible to see 100 meters across the runway. And he said I've never seen anything like this in 40 years of living here. That's a guy who's lived there. So I'm going to post a link to that tweet in the chat. But he said he'd been living there for 40 years and never seen anything like it. Oops, hold on a second. I need to fix something here. Why did that happen? Hang on one moment here. What is the temperature there? I'll tell you in a second. 62 Fahrenheit. We're going to go back to the, in a second, to the cables. So I just have to fix it so I can see the chat a little better here. Give me 2 seconds here. Okay. NY committee says none of these guys walking are wearing masks. No respect for their own lungs or sinuses. I was wondering about this. I don't know, like, I mean, it's enormous pollution. I don't know what it normally looks like. Like, are there way fewer people walking than there normally would be? All right. Anyways, let's go back. Take a few more comments on this, and we'll go back and talk more about the. We'll talk more about the cables being cut. Oh, stubble burning. I was going to mention that. So Wikipedia says stubble burning, which apparently is the cause of a lot of this pollution. Wikipedia says that stubble burning is the practice of intentionally setting fire to the straw stubble that remains after grains such as rice and wheat have been harvested. The technique is used to quickly and cheaply clear fields. It is still widespread today. Stubble burning has been associated with increasing air pollution over the past few decades due to the particulate matter contamination it distributes into the atmosphere. In India, stubble burning generates a thick haze. These fires pose a significant health risk to individuals of all ages. In countries such as India and Pakistan, stubble burning is illegal. Well, it's happening a lot. Enforcement is weak, allowing the practice to continue. Interesting. This is interesting from Wikipedia. They say stubble burning is cheaper and easier than other removal methods, helps to combat pests and weeds, can reduce nitrogen tie-up. Harmful effects: loss of nutrients, pollution from smoke, damage to electrical and electronic equipment from floating threads of conductive waste, risk of fire spreading out of control. Prolonged stubble burning kills beneficial microflora and fauna in soil, which reduces organic matter and destroys the carbon-nitrogen equilibrium. You can see there's a whole section there of health concerns related to stubble burning in India. A wide array of health disorders are associated with the stubble burning emission releases, which have caused people to develop lung cancer and respiratory infections. Wow. The Indian government, says Wikipedia, has been receiving intense backlash for not reacting quickly enough to the health emergency, especially amongst the green revolution that is bringing attention to climate change concerns. Alternatives to stubble burning. Wikipedia says the solutions to reduce the pollution from stubble burning involve mitigating crop farming, adhering to diversification of agriculture, adopting the paddy straw farming technique, and making biomass pellets. If you want to read more about stubble burning, I will post a link in the chat to the Wikipedia article. Okay, so we're going to go back now. That was our live update about this intense India pollution going on. Now we're going to go back and talk some more about the undersea cables. I should also mention maybe the China thing again too. Jake's Online says this is also a problem in Thailand from January to April. AZ Intel said something about drones. There were some drones in New Jersey. There are reports of some drones flying over Morris County, New Jersey. According to some online accounts. I'm seeing some unconfirmed reports of drones flying around for several hours in New Jersey, which are being tracked by law enforcement. I don't really have any reliable reporting. Yeah, there's a couple of online accounts that are saying like there's like drones being tracked by law enforcement in Jersey. But I don't know. I haven't seen any like news reporting about it. So it's a little strange. If I hear more about that, I'll let you know. There's an account called N Jersey Fire Alert that posted some stuff about it, but I don't know where they got it from. If I hear more, I'll let you know. Yeah, a couple people sent me this Guardian article about a Russian spy ship. So I'll post a link to the article. That was 3 days ago. The Guardian had an article 3 days ago said a Russian spy ship has been escorted out of the Irish Sea after it entered Irish-controlled waters and patrolled an area containing critical energy and internet, submarine pipelines, and cables. If you want to read that, I'll post a link to that Guardian article, and you can read it. And the article said that the ship's presence raised fresh concerns about the security of the cables that run between Ireland and the UK carrying global internet traffic, but those were not the cables that were cut, by the way. What was the thing with the gas pipeline in 2023? In October 2023, the Baltic Connector gas pipeline. Here, look, I got it. Baltic Connector. So this was something that happened in 2023, in October. It's from Wikipedia. Baltic Connector is a bi-directional national gas pipeline between Finland and Estonia. The subsea pipeline and a nearby data cable were damaged in October 2023. The pipeline was repaired and began operation again after 6 months. The Chinese authorities reported that the anchor of the Hong Kong-flagged ship Nu Polar Bear was responsible for breaking the pipeline. The Chinese authorities said it was an accident, while both the Estonian and Finnish inquiries are ongoing. That's something from last October. But I just wanted to give you a little more detail about that. In Finland, the government suggested everything indicates the Chinese ship damaged the pipeline on purpose, with the Minister of European Affairs of Finland saying it's hard to believe that it was not intentional or done without Beijing's knowledge. The Chinese government claimed a Chinese ship did it by accident. So that was a year ago. I'll post a link to this article in the chat as well. Dragonfly says America will look like this in the next few years. And then also, in 2022, there was the Nord Stream pipelines sabotage. In September 2022, a series of underwater explosions and consequent gas leaks occurred on 3 or 4 pipes that were rendered inoperable of the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 natural gas pipelines between Europe and Russia. The leaks were located in international waters, but within the economic zones of Denmark and Sweden. Both pipelines were built to transport natural gas from Russia to Germany through the Baltic Sea. Russia asked for an investigation at the UN Security Council. Denmark, Germany, and Sweden each initiated separate investigations describing the explosions as sabotage. The Swedish and Danish investigations were closed in February 2024 without identifying those responsible. The German investigation is still ongoing. In August 2024, media reported that in June, German authorities issued a European arrest warrant for a Ukrainian national suspected of having used the sailing yacht Andromeda together with 2 others to sabotage the Nord Stream pipeline. As of June 2024, that suspect is still at large, having reportedly left the EU for Ukraine. Several naval and diving experts have pointed out the weight of the required diving equipment and explosive would exceed the capacity of a 50-foot sailing yacht, thus arguing that the Andromeda was not used for sabotage. Anyways, that happened as well. So some recent pipeline and cable incidents in the last couple of years. And then this is the one that happened the last couple of days. Hey, thanks to Kat Mocha Dean, our member. Also, Captain Jerry Donnelly. Thanks for your support. Captain Jerry Donnelly says, I have dragged anchor on my ship many times, yet noticed right away. Thank you also, Dylan Bauman, for your support. And Missouri Mahler. Yeah, I mentioned some drones reported in New Jersey. Again, I don't have good, reliable details on that right now. So if I hear more about it, I'll let you know. I'll keep an eye on it. Seeing some stuff on social media about it, but I'll keep an eye out for it. Thanks also, Peace Shall Overcome, for your support. And Visus Patronus from Sweden. Visus says, In 1981, a Soviet submarine got stuck in Swedish waters. Russia has a tendency of having navigational issues in the air as well. As a Swede, it seems odd that navigation is not taught within Russia. So again, there were two on Sunday and Monday, two undersea communications cables were severed, were cut about 24 hours apart from each other and only reportedly about 60 miles away from each other. And it is not clear what happened. Oh, we didn't talk about the nuclear thing. I was going to talk about the nuclear thing. Hold on, something else happened. So before remember, one of these cables was between Finland and Germany. This one talked about right here, the Sea Lion cable, Sea Lion 1. And the other one is a cable running between Lithuania and Sweden. But there was another thing involving Finland today, involving Finland nuclear stuff. So I want to mention that for a second. Hold on. I forgot. I wanted to mention that. Okay. Where did I see that? There was a Finland nuclear plant where they had a couple issues recently. Where is it? Where is it? I think I found it here. Yes, so YLE, which is a Finnish news outlet, YLE, Finnish broadcasting company. By the way, shout out to Nathan Hunt, who I follow, and Alexandru C4, who both posted about this earlier. So YLE said that the electricity production at the second unit at the Loviisa nuclear power plant in Finland has stopped. Production stopped around midday on Monday due to the rapid shutdown of the reactor. Oh, Fortum said this. I bet I can find this. I bet I can find the company website. I'm at the company website. I don't see it. Hold on. News, energy production. Nuclear power. Must be on the website somewhere. I don't see it on their website. It says it's on their website. Hold on. All right, forget about the website. According to YLE Finland, they said Fortum said on its website that the cause of the reactor shutting down of Unit 2 of the Loviisa nuclear power plant shutting down was a malfunction in the reactor's auxiliary system, and the exact cause of the failure is currently being investigated. The first unit of the power plant is running normally. And they say, according to the Fortum, I guess they're the utility, the event does not pose a danger to people, the environment, or the city. That's the Loviisa nuclear power plant. So we don't know why that unit stopped. Here, look. The Loviisa nuclear power plant. There's a article from Wikipedia, and there's a picture of it. It says it houses 2 Soviet-designed reactors. It is one of Finland's 2 operating nuclear power plants. I guess it has 2 units. It has 2 reactors. And the other one has 3. I think there was an issue with the other one like last week. But it seemed like they figured out what that was, and it was... I read something about that before. I'll tell you about that in a second. But this is one of 2 Finnish power reactors, nuclear reactors, and one of the 2 nuclear plants, and one of the 2 reactors at the plant is currently not working. It's currently shut down, I believe. Or the unit is shut down with the reactor in it. Anyways, so again, according to Finnish Broadcasting Company, one of the 2 units at the Loviisa nuclear power plant in Finland was interrupted around about 11 a.m. on Monday. And the company, the utility that operates it, which is Fortum, I believe, Fortum in Finland is an energy company, right? I'm looking up their website. Yeah, they're a power company. The power company that runs it says that the cause of the second unit at the nuclear power plant not working is a malfunction in the reactor's auxiliary system, and the exact cause of the failure is currently being investigated. So, I mean, I saw some discussion online where, for example, Alexandru C4 thought it was strange that you had on the same day, for example, you have the cable that runs from Finland to Germany being cut, which was cut on Sunday or Monday. I can't remember which one it was. The Finland-Germany cable was cut. I have the press release here. Where is it? Too many things open. I have to find it. The Finland-Germany cable, I think, was cut Monday. Right? Yes, Monday. The Finland-Germany cable was cut on Monday. And then on Monday, there was one of the 2 reactors at one of the 2 power plants, nuclear plants, in Finland stopped working. So is it just a coincidence that happened at the same time? I have no idea. And again, it's not said why it's not, we don't know exactly why it's not working yet. What the cause of the auxiliary system broke down, but we don't know what caused it to stop working, what the original cause was. And at the other, just to clarify, at the other nuclear power plant in Finland, which is the Olkiluoto plant, they had an issue there, according to YLE. They had an issue at that plant. And that was that issue was on Sunday. That was Sunday. But one of the 3 units there stopped producing electricity on Sunday. But what they said about that, according to YLE, that was caused by a malfunction of the generator seal oil system. The generator seal oil system. So in the last 2 days, 1 unit on Sunday, 1 unit in one nuclear plant, one of the 2 nuclear plants in Finland stopped working. One of the 3 units stopped working. And then Monday, one of the 2 units in the other nuclear plant in Finland stopped working, but it's not really clear what caused that yet. So anyways, I haven't heard any evidence yet or any reporting that these things going on with the Finnish nuclear plants are anything other than just, maintenance issues or whatever. Nothing. We don't have any evidence or any reporting that it's anything sinister. But it's interesting as Alexander, who is it? Alexander, I told you before. Alexandru C4 on X pointed out that these things are happening at the same time. The same time as the cable being cut. NY committee thinks too many coincidences happening in and around Finland. And I'll post one more thing. I'll actually post it in the chat. You can go to his X and you can read his post about it. It's from Alexandru C4. Alexandru C4 found another thing that happened in Finland, which was a support cable of a bridge broke in Finland on Sunday. I'll post the link to his post right now. You can go to Alexandru ALEXANDRUC4. I just posted a link. You can go to his account and read his post. But he mentioned that happened too. He linked to an article from YLE about it. So again, I have no evidence that these different things are related. Maybe the things that happened at both the nuclear power plants were just maintenance issues or whatever and had nothing to do with the cable running between Finland and Germany being cut. But it's all happening around the same time. I'm going to read him a couple comments here. Hey, thanks, by the way, to DJ, our new member. Also, Michael Kelly. I appreciate that, Michael Kelly. Thank you. David Bozic said he heard a report about Cuban snipers on the ground in Ukraine. No, I have not. I'm not familiar with the person you cited. I have no knowledge of that person. I'll keep an eye out. Wikipedia says that person who produced that report has been described as pro-Kremlin, but has also been called a double agent. So I don't know what to make about it. I know nothing. David, I'll have to look into it. I know nothing about it. Yes, but as background, as we said earlier, and as Beam Me Up, our viewer said, Finland joined NATO in 2023 after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. And Sweden also recently joined NATO as well, as our viewer mentioned. In 2024. Yeah, obviously, if news, I mean, look, first of all, we have 2 undersea cables being cut within like 24 hours of each other, within roughly 60 miles of each other, Sunday and Monday. So it seems like there's a decent chance those are connected and those were intentional. So that in itself is an interesting story in itself. I don't know if it somehow turned out that there was some sort of intentional sabotage of a nuclear plant in Finland, which there's no evidence that I've heard right now, that would obviously be a big story. But even if that's just mechanical stuff, certainly an important story to me that these undersea cables were cut. Murph, our viewer, says India has always been highly polluted. I guess some of this recent pollution is unprecedented, though, from some of the news reports I've seen. Thanks, Murph, for writing in. I am not an expert on the pollution in India, though. Real quick, here's what it looks like live in India right now. We talked about this before. I don't want to get too into it right again because we talked about it before. But that is the heavy pollution in India. Some locations, specifically in the capital of New Delhi, where some locations, I believe on Monday, saw readings more than 50 times above the healthy level, safe level. If you want, you can rewind. We covered this in detail earlier, about 20 minutes ago or so, half hour ago. But that's a live shot there. And a lot of that pollution is believed to come from farmers' stubble burning dried straw at the end of the harvest. Can't see anything in the distance. I'll see if I can get you anything else on these undersea cables. I feel like there was a couple other things I wanted to mention too. Give me 1 second here, guys. Just give me a second here. Now, Bloomberg says in their story about the cables being cut, Bloomberg claims that the 2 cables were within 10 meters of each other. That's what Bloomberg says. Now, although somebody might say, well, But they weren't cut at the same time. I mean, they were reported cut about 24 hours difference. They weren't reported cut at the same time. One was Sunday morning, one was Monday morning. Oh, hold on a second. Bloomberg had a Rostock to Helsinki. Right. So if we do this, the cable from Germany to Finland that was cut runs from Rostock to Helsinki, which is roughly from here to here. And the Lithuania Sweden run is roughly here because it runs to Gotland. So if they both were cut near each other, it had to be around here somewhere. I mean, this is not an exact drawing, but I mean, one goes one way. It's like they make an X. So given the reporting that says they were right near each other, that would mean it would have to have happened right where they, where they cross over each other, basically. So that area where I'm pointing at, this right here, I can't show the Bloomberg map, but the Bloomberg map has that as the spot. Roughly speaking, on the Bloomberg map, it's in this area right in here, is where they said the cable damage was. Obviously, I mean, Russia's right here. So, Russia has access to the Baltic Sea. No, it's weird. I thought a different article said they weren't as close. The Bloomberg article says 10 meters. The cable was within 10-meter proximity to the Finnish cable. Bloomberg says that the incident is reminiscent of last year when the anchor of a Chinese ship, it is believed to be, severed 2 data cables in a gas pipeline on a seabed in the Gulf of Finland. As I mentioned to you before, China claimed it was an accident, but who was it? Was it a Finnish official? We read you an article about this before. I think a Finnish official, was it, who said that they thought it was intentionally done by China? I forget. I'd have to go back and look again on the at the article I was reading, the Wikipedia article I was reading before. Yeah, Baltic connector. We talked about that before, the Baltic connector. Yeah, the Finnish government said, according to Wikipedia, everything indicates the Chinese ship damaged the pipeline on purpose. But that was last year. And then Bloomberg says the events last year with the Chinese ship severing 2 data cables and a gas pipeline on a seabed of the Gulf of Finland, and in 2022 with explosions destroying the Nord Stream gas pipeline, have brought threats against critical infrastructure back to the attention of European countries. Oh, by the way, if you want to read about the details about submarine communications cables, you can go to Wikipedia. They have an article, "A submarine communications cable is a cable laid on the seabed between land-based stations to carry telecommunication signals across stretches of ocean and sea." Modern cables are typically about 1 inch in diameter. Boy, I thought they might be bigger. Modern cables are typically around 1 inch in diameter and weigh around 1.4 tons per kilometer. For the deep sea sections, which comprise the majority of the run, although larger and heavier cables are used for shallow water sections near shore. Huh. Kim Carter says, that's small? Rankin says, beauty of fiber optics. Crazy Yoda says, fiber. Yeah, guys, regarding this New Jersey drone story, I have not seen a single reporter or news outlet, New Jersey news outlet or national news outlet, either of them report anything about these drone story. What I do see is posts with sirens on them in capital letters from social media accounts. But I don't see any kind of reliable reporting on some big drone crisis in New Jersey. If I see anything reliable, anything from, say, one single New Jersey outlet or reporter, I will certainly let you know. Right now, it is a bunch of rumors on social media, okay? I will certainly, maybe somebody was flying a few drones around and people didn't know what it was. And law enforcement was looking into it or something. I don't know. But I'll certainly keep an eye out. If it turns into some big story, I will let you know. Okay? Oh, give me a moment here. Just checking something. Oh, I think there's something... I have an update for you about the whole ATACMS thing. I want to talk about that for a second. Give me a moment. Russia says U.S. adding fuel to the fire by letting Ukraine use ATACMS. So I want to mention this for a second. We talked about this story yesterday where the U.S. reportedly will now let Ukraine use these long-range U.S.-made missiles called ATACMS, which have a 190-mile-an-hour range, and they can actually now use them on certain targets in Russia rather than, say, on Russian targets in occupied Ukraine. So I want to talk about this for a second and give you an update on this. First, though, let me just show you a little background here on ATACMS. What are ATACMS? The weapon Biden is letting Ukraine use to strike Russia. By the way, should I change the headline while I'm talking about this, or should I keep the headline up? I don't know what I should do, because this is one of these streams where we're talking about a couple different things. Would you like me to change the headline or leave the headline there? Keep it? One of our viewers, Glitch, said keep it. Some of our viewers are saying keep it. People want me to keep it up there. All right, I'll keep it. More people are saying keep it than change it. So I'll do that. By the way, shout out to Who Shot JR for your support, and TextBrit over there on Twitch. Thank you. And Long John Daly. Hey, thanks so much to Brian Beelman and Paul Langeal, our member. Thanks, Paul. More people said keep it. All right, so just a little background here, and then we'll tell you about what Russia said about this. President Biden gave, this is from the Washington Post, President Biden gave permission for Ukraine to deploy long-range U.S. missiles for limited strikes inside Russia, easing restrictions on Ukraine's use of the powerful weapon system. The U.S. had previously limited Ukraine to using ATACMS within its own territory out of concern that Russia could respond with force against U.S. and allies' interests beyond Ukraine. ATACMS is a guided missile system that can be fitted with either cluster munitions or conventional warheads. It travels at supersonic speeds, maximum range 190 miles, more than double that of the longest range missile Ukraine has in its own arsenal. Also, the ATACMS range is longer than the cruise missiles launched from planes that Britain and France have provided Ukraine. Okay, fine. Why did the Biden administration decide to do this now? The decision came in response to the deployment of thousands of North Korean troops to the Russian border region of Kursk to help Russia retake territory gained by Ukraine, U.S. officials told the Post. Also, the Biden administration officials have signaled that the White House wants to put Ukraine in as strong a position as possible ahead of President Trump's next term, with Trump indicating eagerness to broker a peace deal between Moscow and Kyiv. According to the Post, Pentagon officials were among the most skeptical of giving Ukraine permission to use these missiles on Russian targets in Russia, saying that any military benefits would be limited because Russia could respond by withdrawing most of its warplanes and military assets deeper into Russia out of range. Privately, officials worried that providing more ATACMS missiles would affect U.S. readiness by drawing down its strategic reserve. Okay. Michael Kaufman, an expert on Russian and U.S. Ukrainian militaries, said allowing Ukraine to use ATACMS missiles in Russia could provide an operational benefit, enabling them to better defend and hold on to the territory they currently occupy in Kursk and help offset the benefit Russia enjoys from employing North Korean forces. A former U.S. ambassador to NATO, Kurt Volker, said Russia is attacking Ukraine from these very long ranges. The U.S. has been preventing Ukraine from hitting back at that range. But he said the U.S. should not have publicly disclosed the decision because it gives Russia advance notice of potential Ukrainian strikes. President Putin previously said that long-range strikes against Russian targets using Western weapons crossed a red line. In September, he revised Russia's nuclear doctrine, indicating any conventional attack on Russia supported by a nuclear power would be perceived as a joint attack. Now, adding to this, this is from today. Russia says U.S. adding fuel to the fire by letting Ukraine use ATACMS. Also from the Washington Post. The Post said, although President Putin of Russia has yet to respond to another crossing of his red lines by the West, his spokesman said the move added fuel to the fire and tensions to the relationship. Putin's spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, said Monday, this is a qualitatively new round of tension and a qualitatively new situation in terms of U.S. involvement in this conflict. It's clear that the outgoing administration in Washington intends to take steps to, they've said so, to continue to add fuel to the fire and further provoke the level of tension. A former Kremlin official told the Washington Post that Moscow now believes that NATO has gone to war with Russia and that they will proceed accordingly, whatever that means. The removal of the restrictions has infuriated many in Russia, reports the Post, with several officials and propagandists promising reprisals. Prominent TV propagandist in Russia, Dmitry Kiselyov, said Sunday that the West would be directly entering the war with all the ensuing consequences for their own territories and those inhabiting them. Other Russian officials, meanwhile, said it was not entirely unexpected. One parliament member said, the standoff will become even fiercer, and the talks will become more difficult. We expected them to escalate before the end of Biden's office. Trump's son, Don Jr., tweeted the decision risk provoking World War III. Putin said nothing Sunday night, but in the past he has described long-range strikes using Western weapons as a red line for Russia. So is Russia going to do anything about this? Guys, I have no idea. I have no idea. I do not know. By the way, a quick thanks. Let me read some comments from you guys. Gringo just gave 50 people memberships. That is very generous of you, Gringo. After Brian Beelman gave 20 people memberships. And Gringo gave 50 people memberships. That is very generous of you both. Thank you. Please make sure you thank Brian, Gringo, or anybody else who gives you a membership or a gift membership or a gift subscription. Thanks also to Vini for your support. And Tanner Toxicity, who says, why is everything that the United States and Europe does considered an aggression, but Russia can recruit 10,000 Korean soldiers and use Iranian drones? Mark Washburn, our viewer, thinks Russia is a paper tiger at this point. Les Slippers says he can choke on his red lines. Zoria says, I don't want us to enter the war. It is not cool at all. Artanod says Iranian drones also deployed in Ukraine. AD says a paper tiger doesn't have nukes. Count Yorga says Russia can end humanity with a few keystrokes. Reuters says analysis, long-range strikes against Russia too late to save Ukraine? Oh, do they have a little video? Hold on, what is this? Hold on. Ooh, we got a little video to show you. Hey, there's a little video from Reuters about this. Let's check this out. About this ATACMS thing. I'm going to show you this video from Reuters about the whole ATACMS situation from the article, Too Late to Save Ukraine? So we'll put this right here. Okay, good. Good so far. Here. All right, I'm going to hit play in a second. Here we go. I feel like you're not hearing anything. Are you not hearing anything? Let's see. Oh, yeah, you're here. Are you hearing that? Or are you not hearing that? Are you guys hearing the video or not? No sound, right? Oh, I know why. I know why there's no sound. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. I got it. You're going to hear sound now. You're going to hear sound right now.
President Joe Biden has lifted some restrictions blocking Ukraine from using U.S.-supplied weapons for striking deeper into Russian territory. The decision is a major change in U.S. policy and could help Ukraine better defend itself. But it could also escalate the conflict. Biden's decision to authorize long-range strikes could help defend Ukraine's foothold in Russia's Kursk region, which it seized as potential leverage in future war talks. Long-range strikes would also allow Ukraine to target Russian military air bases. James Nixie is the director of Russia-Eurasia and Europe programs at Chatham House.
This is a dramatic step because it does give the Ukrainians the ability to hit really important military points and infrastructural points inside Russia. And that will absolutely have an effect on Russia's ability to wage war. But it won't win Ukraine the war outright, and certainly not in the immediate future, and not at all, to be perfectly honest with you. But the truth is that for Ukraine to win the war, we have to do an awful lot more to squeeze Russia than we are now. So it's an enormous step. The Ukrainians are hugely relieved, but it's not a game changer as far as the war is concerned.
Russia has strongly opposed the decision, insisting that Ukraine cannot carry out such strikes without NATO's direct help, and calling it a major escalation. On Monday, the Kremlin said that any such decision would signal direct U.S. involvement in the conflict. Here's Russian President Vladimir Putin himself in September, warning against such a decision.
If this decision is made, it will mean nothing less than the direct participation of NATO countries, the United States, and European countries in the war in Ukraine.
The first Ukrainian long-range strikes could happen in the coming days. But with 2 months left in Biden's term, there's no way to know how long the new policy will last. as a new U.S. administration comes to power in January.
Obviously, this can be reversed by Donald Trump when he comes into power in February, and it looks likely to be, judging from the tweets and judging by his appointments. So there is the understanding that Ukraine needs to do all that it can between now and January, mid-January, in order to get itself into that best possible position, because it might well be more handicapped than it ever has been before come 20th January.
Trump has repeatedly criticized the scale of U.S. aid to Ukraine and has vowed to end the war quickly without saying how. A Trump spokesperson did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
Interesting. Nice summary there from Reuters. They got a quote in here from Michael Kaufman, who's a really smart guy who is an expert on the Russia and Ukraine militaries. Michael Kaufman says, so you can see here it says, military analysts say the impact on the battlefield of this decision to allow Ukraine to use these U.S. ATACMS long-range missiles on targets in Russian territory. Military analysts say the impact on the battlefield, where Ukraine has been on the back foot for months, would depend on what limits remained, but while the shift may shore up the Kursk operation, it was unlikely to be a game-changer overall. Michael Kaufman said the decision comes late, and like other decisions in this vein, it may be too late to substantially change the course of the fighting. Long-range strikes were always one piece of the puzzle and had been overly freighted with expectations in this war. Also, there's no way to know how long this new policy will last because Trump could get rid of it. Russian forces have been advancing at the fastest rate since 2022 in eastern Ukraine and exerting pressure in the northeast and southeast. Russia claims that Ukraine cannot fire the missiles at targets inside Russia without direct help from NATO allies, calling this a major escalation. The first Russian-Ukrainian strikes with the ATACMS could happen in the coming days and are likely to be carried out using ATACMS rockets, which have a range up to 190 miles. This is interesting down here. Some more analysis about this. Being able to attack Russian territory with missiles could have its most direct impact in Kursk, which is just across the border from Ukraine, where Ukraine aims to hold on to a salient it captured after its first major cross-border assault in August. The Russian land could be a bargaining chip in any negotiations after Trump enters the White House. Ukraine says Russia has amassed 50,000 troops to try to retake the territory in Kursk, and that it has deployed 11,000 North Koreans, some of whom it says have joined the fight. Russia has neither confirmed nor denied the deployment. Michael Kaufman said ATACMS missiles can hold at risk high-value Russian and North Korean targets. This would help Ukrainian forces defend the Kursk salient, which is under pressure. Rob Lee, who's also an expert about the Russian and Ukrainian militaries, said it would be difficult for Ukraine to hold its ground in Kursk in the long term, but its fortunes there would depend on resources. Ukraine has committed some of its best units in Kursk, so they may be able to hold for some time if they continue to receive enough ammunition and combat replacements, said Rob Lee. Another expert, Kyiv-based military analyst Serhiy Kuzin, said there were an array of targets in Russia at a depth of up to 500 kilometers from Ukraine that Ukraine's forces saw as priorities, but many of which would still be out of range of ATACMS. France and Britain have not spelled out whether they would follow the Americans by allowing Ukraine to use their Storm Shadow and Scalp cruise missiles, which have a range of 155 miles on Russian territory targets. Oh, and Rob Lee said Russia can shoot down Storm Shadow and attack them, so the salvo size that can be launched is also an important consideration. Anyways, a little analysis there about the situation in Ukraine. The Shark says South Korea was recently discussing supplying weapons to Ukraine because of the North Korean presence there. Fagan says that would make NATO direct combatants. Maverick says, why does Ukraine have the missiles if they haven't been able to use them? They've been able to use them, but against targets within Ukraine that Russia currently occupies. For example, like if we pull up our deep state map here, it's a map I like to use. Deep state map, deepstatemap.live. You can get it there. Here's Ukraine here, but the purple and the brown are where Russian forces occupy Ukrainian territory. That's Crimea down here. The brown is what they've taken since 2022. So this is all territory within Ukraine, but where Russian forces are in control. So previously they could have, say, used the ATACMS missiles to attack this territory, but that's not Russian territory. Sea Turtle says, we have been helping Ukraine all along. DJ, our member, thinks the drone stuff is much ado about nothing. Again, the New Jersey drone stuff, if I have some kind of reliable reporting that anything as big is going on, I will certainly let you know. Our viewer, by the way, one of our viewers wrote in 19 Whimsicraft and said, well, 19 Whimsicraft 93 said, most Finns think that Russia is behind the cable cutting. It's all everyone is talking about right now on social media. That's our viewer who says he is Finnish. He or she is Finnish, 19 Whimsicraft. Michael Lauzon says the ATACMS can only be used in Kursk. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's some different reporting about where they can be used. But some of the reports say that they can't be used anywhere in Russia. If I can quickly... Yeah, I mean, we don't have an official announcement about this yet. So some of the reporting suggesting there's limits on where they can be used in Russia. Sorry, I was going through some of your messages people have been sending me. I'm not going to get into it now. One of our viewers sent me a 2020 article. Alexander Locke sent me a 2020 article from the New York Times. About a Russian sub that had some kind of catastrophic thing happen to it near Norway, off Norway's waters. I haven't looked at this article yet, so anyway, I'll have to check it out. The article talks about undersea cables and the possibility of them being cut. By the way, the U.S. officially said today, North Korean troops enter Kursk where Ukrainians are fighting. This is literally from the U.S. Department of Defense. It is likely that about 11,000 North Korean troops have moved into Russia's Kursk region. That is where Russia is looking to kick out the Ukrainian forces that took some of Russian territory in Kursk in the last few months. It is likely that about 11,000 North Korean troops have moved into Russia's Kursk region, said Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh, who spoke to the media today. The Pentagon has not confirmed these troops have engaged in combat with Ukrainian troops who are inside a portion of the Kursk region, she said, saying, they're moving into Kursk for a region. We have every expectation they would be engaged in combat operations. There is no evidence that more North Korean troops are entering Russia, but that could change, she said. The U.S. views North Korea as co-belligerents with Russia, she said. North Korean troops began entering Russia last month. She also said Russians have moved their airfields out of the range of ATACMS missiles. She said Russian casualties are now averaging around 1,200 per day, which would be roughly 400,000 a year, including dead and injured. Okay. All right, maybe we can talk a little more about the cables before we wrap up here. We covered the cables a lot before. 2 undersea communications cables in the Baltic Sea, one running from Germany to Finland, one running from Sweden to Lithuania. They were both cut. I believe the Sweden-Lithuania one was cut on Sunday morning around 10 a.m. and less than 24 hours later, I've seen reporting saying 2 or 4 a.m. around there, the cable from Germany to Finland was cut. Bloomberg said the 2 cables where they were cut were within 10 meters of each other. That's what Bloomberg said. They cross over each other. We showed you this before, but roughly speaking, we're talking about one cable that runs from Germany. Hold on a second. One cable that runs, roughly speaking, from Germany to Finland, and the other one that runs from Lithuania to Gotland, Sweden. So they do cross over. So it would make sense that they certainly could have been both cut in roughly the same area. We don't know who did this. It's being investigated. KC says, what were they hoping to achieve other than to irritate? Well, if it's a country to do it, that does it, could be a country maybe saying, hey, look, we have this capacity, so you better be careful, right? It can be done as a warning, as a sign of a capacity that you have, a threat. The cable, if I remember right, I believe there are 3 cables running from Lithuania to Sweden. We covered this a bunch before, but just to go over this again. Real quick. Yeah, LRT, which is Lithuanian National News, said the cable that runs from Lithuania to back from Lithuania to Sweden. A representative of the company Telia said that there are 3 such cables. The internet bandwidth between Sweden and Lithuania was reduced by 1/3. Well, it sounds like it says Telia transmits the internet connection to Lithuania through 3 cables. So I don't know if that's all of Lithuania gets their internet through that cable, or I don't know. But it says the internet bandwidth was reduced by 1/3 due to the incident, but the connection was restored to users by bypassing the fault. And the connection between Germany and Finland is about 700 miles long. It's interesting. LRT Lithuanian News says the cable that runs between Germany and Finland, it runs alongside other important pieces of infrastructure, including gas pipelines and electricity cables. And that cable, as we mentioned, is going to take like around 5 to 15 days to fix. That's a press release from the company Cinia. And they said a fault has been detected in the Cinia OY Sea Line 1 submarine cable between Finland and Germany, and corrective measures have been initiated. The fault was detected early after 4 a.m. on Monday, today. Technically yesterday, because it's technically Tuesday where I am. Due to the fault, the services provided over the Sea Line 1 cable are down. The details of the cut are not yet known and are currently being investigated. They say fault, but reports say that both these cables were cut. Corrective measures have been initiated and the repair vessel is getting ready to go on the site. The exact repair time is not yet known, but typically the repair time for submarine cables is between 5 and 15 days. Finland's international telecommunication connections are routed via multiple routes, and the impact of a single cable failure depends on the resilience of the service provider's connections. This cable is about 700 miles long. It was launched in 2016. I don't know how deep the sea is there, how deep the Baltic Sea is there. And we showed you this as well, the statement by the foreign ministers of Finland and Germany. They said, we are deeply concerned about the severed undersea cable connecting Finland and Germany in the Baltic Sea. The fact that such an incident immediately raises suspicions of intentional damage speaks volumes about the volatility of our times. A thorough investigation is underway. Our European security is not only under threat from Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, but also from hybrid warfare by malicious actors. Safeguarding our shared critical infrastructure is vital to our security and the resilience of our societies. And also, very interestingly, CNN reported 2 months ago, in September, CNN reported that 2 months ago, CNN reported in September that the U.S. has detected increased Russian military activity around key undersea cables and believes Russia may now be more likely to carry out potential sabotage operations aimed at disabling a critical piece of the world's communications infrastructure. And I'll post a link to that article in the chat. A U.S. official told CNN in September, Russia's decision calculus for damaging U.S. and allied underseas critical infrastructure may be changing. And they say undersea cables form a critical backbone of internet and telecommunications traffic around the world. Most communications and internet traffic travels a vast network of high-speed fiber optic cables installed along the ocean floor. CNN said a coordinated attack could significantly disrupt private government and military communications along such cables, as well as industries that rely on such communications. They also point out that there's undersea cables that carry vast amounts of electricity. I think if one of these cables had been connected to the U.S., this would be a bigger story in the U.S. Certainly, I think you can understand how our Finnish viewers said everybody's talking about it on Finnish social media. One of our viewers thinks the joint statement from Finland and Germany suggests they think Russia is responsible. That's what Up-Tiered Forever says. L. Hazelross says this aggression will not stand. Real Sportsman says, since they know when it happened, could they use satellite photos to identify the ship? How much info the intelligence agencies of different countries have about what ships were in there at the time is a good question. It's a good question. I do not know. But that's what we have right now. By the way, I think I missed something. Hey, hold on a second here. Hang on a moment. I thanked Gringo, right? I think I did thank Gringo. Hold on. Oh, you know what happened here? I owe a thank you to Jackie Morgan and DJ. No, I thanked DJ. I didn't thank Jackie Morgan. Did I thank BBG for the gift memberships? I think I did. All right. Oh, and thanks, by the way, to Eric Deerback Hagen. Thanks, Eric, for your support. So we'll have to see if we hear anything more about this. Yeah, as we talked about earlier, last year there was I believe a couple undersea cables in a pipeline that a Chinese ship, I guess the anchor took it out. If you want to read it, and there's a question as to whether that was intentional or not, you can read about that in the... What was the name of that thing? I showed it before. I'll post the link again for people who want to read about it. Something like Something Connect. Baltic Connector. You can read about that in the... We talked about that a couple times in the Wikipedia article about Baltic Connector, where Finland thought that China intentionally took out data cable in a subsea pipeline. That was late 2023. And then you had the Nord Stream pipeline explosions in 2022. Eric says, who gains from escalating tensions? Will there be more of these cable cuttings? Something to keep an eye on. Sumi Su says, who is every time the suspect Russia? It's still not clear who did the Nord Stream 1's explosions. There's different theories. I wonder if it costs more, well, to like insure these things or something. I wonder if they're insured. I would think it would cost more to insure them. Dr. Emmett Brown says U.S. again. All right. Well, I'll just see if there's any more recent updates on this. This was one of these streams where we cover a few stories. Although we mostly covered the cable story. But I like to do once in a while one where we cover more than one thing. I hope that's okay with people. Thanks, Mark Washburn. Okay, guys. I think that's all I really have on this story right now. Obviously, I'm going to look for more on this cable story. I don't have that much to tell you on it right now. But let me just see one thing. Yeah, it's weird. It's not like some outlets have coverage of the cable story, some don't. It's kind of a little bit under the radar, this story. I think it's an important story. It's a little bit under the radar. So if there's like big developments, we can do another stream on it. By the way, thanks so much to Baronico. Thank you, Baronico, for your support from Hong Kong. Yeah, so I will. I'm going to wrap up this stream now. But if there's big news, we'll come back on the air and do another stream. And I'll certainly keep an eye on this cable story. And if there's big developments there, we'll cover that more. But ice cold beverage is not just under the radar, under the sea. It is, but it's a little bit, it feels like an important story to me. Dwight says, sure, it's important. Hopefully not more of this to come, but not going to hold my breath. I will also post updates on my X account, which is @Lookner. So you can follow me there if you want, @Lookner on X. I cover a lot of news there, @Lookner. I'll post a link to that. And subscribe and follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. Oh, maybe as I start signing off, we'll take a last look at New Delhi, India. Wow, it looks like it's even worse there now. I believe it's about 10:45 there a.m. We covered this earlier. Really bad pollution right now in New Delhi, India. (10:48). So we covered this earlier. You can go back and rewind and see our coverage of that. But I really appreciate everybody watching, and I appreciate your comments and letting me read your comments on the air and sending me news tips as well. And I appreciate you tuning in. Subscribe and follow the channel. Hey, let's thank our moderators. Our moderators are so awesome. That's really something. It's really something. Our moderators are, I mean, I was going to say, like, maybe some of it's like the camera needs to adjust, but I mean, you can see the people fine when they're close up. But, yeah, you can see them fine. See? You can see them clearly. Can't even see the end of the street. Hey, let's thank our moderators. They're awesome. They're the reason that we can even have chat rooms. They're the ones keeping it civil and respectful there in the chat. So I really appreciate them being here. Thanks so much. I know we had Robert's May Queen moderating tonight, Linda Belk and Larry. And over there on Twitch, Idaho Star, Sarah, Surly Dev, thank you. Thanks to Who Shot JR for your support. I think I thanked Who Shot JR before. And Kay Lowry Body over there on Facebook, thank you for being there. Moderating. Margaret Riley, Christina Neal, Paul Anderson, Ronald Egnor, thank you to all of our mods. Thanks to everybody who donated. That's super nice of you guys. I really appreciate that. You're the ones who allow this channel to exist, who allow me to get footage and articles and everything. So very much appreciate everybody who donated. Super nice of you. I think I thanked everybody. If you ever want to donate to the channel, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But thanks so much for supporting the channel and for watching the channel. Anmol Gupta says just under 100 meters visibility at Dehli. Well, I saw somebody posted, I read you a post from, I think it was a historian, who said he couldn't even see around 100 meters when he was at the airport, I think yesterday. Oh, thanks, Captain Jerry Donnelly, for all your support. Super nice of you. Thank you, Captain Jerry Donnelly. Hey, turn on notifications. I don't know when big breaking news is going to happen, so I can't tell you in advance when we're going to go live. But turn on notifications because that'll send you a notification whenever we're going live so you don't miss a broadcast. We have a notification system that we've set up. That notification system is done through Discord. It's free. It's easy. You sign up once and you're signed up. The mods will post the link to the notifications in the chat. You can also find that link in the description of this video on Facebook and YouTube. And at the same link, you can check out our chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. You can, that's free, our Discord chat. Check that out as well while you're there. Thanks to our Discord mods too. Hey, thanks to Mama of 6, our member. Thank you. And let's see. A quick reminder for those of you who watch on YouTube. For those of you who watch on YouTube, if you want to turn the YouTube notifications on, which I would recommend, good way to find out when we're live and when we're going live from YouTube. What you need to do over there on YouTube is you need to hit the notifications bell. Oh my gosh, it's kind of strange. But on YouTube, you need to do this. Hit the notification, subscribe, and then you hit the bell. Oops, hold on, I'll show you in a second. I'll show you right now. On YouTube, you need to, you hit this bell. Where's the bell there? There's the bell. You hit the bell and you choose all notifications. Make sure if you watch us and subscribe on YouTube, you hit the bell and you choose all notifications. And again, if you missed the coverage of the cables or of the pollution in India, we also talked about the U.S. allowing Ukraine to use ATACMS missiles on targets in Russian territory. If you missed that coverage, you can rewind the broadcast and check it out. I want to say thanks to our Facebook subscribers like Diane Allworth, thanks, and Suzanne Priest-Buchner. Sorry I didn't thank you guys before. Marie Goodson-Hamilton, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, all of our subscribers over on Facebook. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thank you. Iva Lynn Berry Speedell, Leanne Ticknor, And all of our Facebook members, our Facebook subscribers, thank you. Our Twitch subscribers too, like Aaron Weirdo and Annie Cush, Wall Street and Shaggy. Thanks for subscribing. All of our other subscribers over there too. Allistic. Hey, thanks, Stone Man. I appreciate your bits, the bits and your support and your notes, Stone Man. Look how can't even they fade into the haze back there as they're walking away from the camera. That's in New Delhi, in northern India. Population, what, about 33 million we read? The metro area, 28 million population according to Wikipedia, but that was in 2018. About 30 million in the metro area. And they say city, capital city, 250,000. What is the population of Delhi city? I don't know exactly where all the I think the pollution is, well, we know the pollution's in the city. Now I'm confused here. The Union of Territory, Delhi is a city and a territory. Now I'm really confused. I'll have to read up on this. But the stories, the stories like in AP and PBS and all that say New Delhi, and BBC says Delhi. So, but I think there's a larger territory, and there's the city. I know some people know this stuff in the chat, and they're probably mad at me right now. Yeah, there's a territory of Delhi too. Hey, thanks to our members on YouTube, like Barry, GM, Alexander G, Sherry Riddle, Evelyn in Maine. Really appreciate it. Lindsay, our YouTube members, Strikers Arcade, Captain Jerry Donnelly, Danielle Klingenberg, GM2 Rob Guns. I'd like to visit India one day. Fagan, Barry, Brian Beelman, DJ, thanks for being members. Megatron, Per Holstrand, Evelyn in Maine, Steve T USA, Cats Go Nuts, Hammer 225. Did I say Strikers Arcade? Megatron, Lindsay, Per Holstrand, GMA Daniels, Smedley, Jesse, AEB, CAC, GM2 Rob Guns, thanks for being members. Beam Me Up, Toboggan, Sumi Sue, CAC, Jane Jones, Fin Tactical, John, Steve Sanderosa, Hectic Days, and all of our other members. All right, I'm about to wrap this up. Thanks, Captain Jerry Donnelly. Who knows? Maybe in the future, Captain Jerry Donnelly. Thank you so much, Captain Jerry Donnelly. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Also, thanks to our other viewers who've been watching as well. Really appreciate it. Hey, Roll Tide AL, our member. Thank you. Danny G. And did I thank Marie Goodson Hamilton? I think I did. All right, we're wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up. Robin Pilas, Dennis McNeely. All right, guys, that is it. We are wrapping up this live stream as we look at the pollution in New Delhi. So again, I really appreciate you joining us. Thanks Tina Marie for watching. Thanks Paisley Dreams. Really appreciate you guys watching the stream tonight, and Secret Scroll Flips and others. And we will keep you updated with big news on these stories and others. That is it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.